here. This is my epoch. Okay, so I'll show you guys what we're dealing with right now. See all that rain? So if you look up here, I'm under an awning. So anyways, we got into Atlanta area. We're actually in, like, I think it's Fairburn, Georgia, which is just south of Atlanta by about 10 to 20 miles. We kind of got stuck. The weird thing is we actually, getting into town, we kind of, like, it came in at like 6 o'clock in the morning. So we were kind of just waking up as all of a sudden we're slowly going into a yard and then realizing that the train's being broken down, how to pack up and run out of the yard as quick as possible. And this seems to be fairly common. So I keep wondering, hi everybody. Hey, and if you have any questions, be sure to ask questions. This is the time for the questions. This is that time. Okay, so I figured I'd come live for you guys for about 30 minutes and talk about my travels. Hey, what's up, Cherokee? How are you doing, man? Glad to see you. So, so we got into town yesterday morning. We were kind of tired. And so we kind of camped in the woods a little across the street, and then went into the town. And luckily, what was weird is I think it's because it's so close to Atlanta that this small town food bank was actually up. Because if you guys remember on the Florida Trail, or not the Florida Trail, but on the Southern Tier when I was doing biking, for those of you that were biking there, or that watched me bike, you remember me telling you that all these small towns, hey man, I'd love to have a bowl. I can't even, I got like $5 to my name, and we've been just kind of using it for supplies. I haven't, and plus being here in a small town, it's kind of hard to find some weed. But hey, if any of you guys would like to donate to my hole in my bowl, we'll just say that. If you want to donate to my hole in my bowl, it's down in the description there. You can leave me a tip in the tip jar. As far as other resources, we've done really, really good on food. We're kind of carrying some extra food. We're probably going to end up having to hunker down here for the weekend because there's this nice rainstorm that's coming through. And it's not going to end until probably about Monday. And usually the trains run better on the weekdays. But we may end up in either White Cross, Savannah, or Jacksonville from here. That's kind of where we're going to go. And then probably once we get to either White Cross or Jacksonville, or wherever we get to that final destination, that's probably where I'm going to end up splitting with these guys to head into Gainesville. But man, they have taught me so much. I've learned so much about the rails and kind of the nuances that you can only gain through experience. And so they've shown me how to pick out cars, and they've shown me how to tell about trains, and kind of how to figure out where a jump spot is even without the crew change, and all that stuff. So if you guys have questions, oh, by the way, if you want to see the footage, because it was like a 19-minute video, but 12 minutes of it was pretty much nothing but footage from the trip, from being on the rails. If you guys are excited about seeing something like that, you're gonna have to come over to Patreon, because if I were to post that content here, it would end up getting demonetized and possibly cost me my channel, which, why do that when I can do it behind the scenes, behind a paywall? If you want to be able to see regular footage like that, stuff that I can't post here, that's going to be... I'm making it available for both the behind the scenes and for hobo tutorials, because it's more of an entertainment factor than like a lesson. And it's also kind of showing you what's going on when I'm doing, how I'm traveling, what it's like to be on a train, kind of showing you some of the pictures and stuff like that. So it's been a heck of a trip. Nice thing is I think I used to think, because when I would get on trail, I'd be like, I'd have this big old smile on my face because I like being on trail. It's like, okay, cool, I'm going somewhere. But then all of a sudden, now that I'm on train, not only do I have a smile, but I'm giggling the whole way, because it's just, I don't know why, I'm like so excited. It's so having so much fun doing all of this. It's been an experience. I'm glad I'm doing it now versus doing it earlier, because a lot of things have changed, as far as the rails go, as far as the way that security goes and stuff like that. A lot of it has to do with the labor crunch. Also, the railroad, if you remember, they went on strike not too long ago. And so they're overworking their people and they're pushing them way too hard and all that other stuff. So when it comes to it, I mean, there's not much that they can do to you, unlike maybe 5 years ago when they had not only the staff, but they also had the less chaos and all that stuff going on. It would have been a lot more dangerous. There's been some times where I probably would have been caught. And the thing is it's in most places it's a trespass, it's a misdemeanor, it's not a huge deal. If you are kind and polite and courteous, they will be kind and polite and courteous to you. A lot of those stories that I've heard about how the bulls used to beat you up and stuff like that, apparently that was more Depression era. That's not something that happens out here, and it's quite interesting. I haven't got to talk to any rail staff yet, though. That's one thing I'm kind of hoping to be able to do. But hey, if you guys have questions, be sure to ask them. That's what this is for. I'm probably only going to do about 30 minutes right now. We're getting some juice and kind of trying to hunker down while we charge our stuff out of the rain. So that's kind of what's going on here. But man, it's been a blast, and these kids that I've met, when I first came up across them, it was kind of nice. It was almost like an instant trust for me. They have their own thing. That's what I'm worried about. Is I'm worried about me. I'm not worried about others, because in this lifestyle, as much as you would like to be able to be about others, you got to take care of yourself, and then if you have extra, you help out the rest. And that's kind of the way that this lifestyle is. And to find some like-minded individuals, it's kind of nice. I'm really stoked that I ran across these kids, and that I'm hoping that I run across more people like this out on the rails, because it's complete night and day versus the urban homeless versus the hobos and the tramps and so on and so forth. So I think that these guys have shown me the positive view of what it's like to ride rails. And not only that they're I don't have to deal with the dumb stuff like you would do with Georgia. Oh, okay. It just doesn't have to deal with sorry guys, I'm still kind of reeling back and stuff like that. But hey, does anybody, let's see if we have any questions here. Sorry guys. Okay, just bowls and laundry. Okay, yep. All right, so I've been keeping up on this. Anyways, but I've really enjoyed traveling, and I like this. So what are my plans? What is it that hey Tuck, everyone, like and comment on it so more people see it. Yes, Jeremy, that would be definitely awesome if you guys could do something like that. Like, share, comment. The more interaction and the more engagement that I get, the more the YouTube algorithm says, oh, okay, more people are liking this, they're interacting with it, and so therefore they push it out to more people, and this helps grow the audience. I'm hoping, we just finally hit 1,300 subscribers. I am so excited that I've got 1,300 subscribers. I'm like, what, about 3,700 off of my 5,000 goal or something like that. So it's nice to know that the channel's growing, and I got to say thank you to you guys who are not only subscribing, watching the content, engaging in it, sharing it with your friends and family and stuff like this. So have you jumped any moving trains? Not yet. Hi Tuck, are you traveling tonight? Ian, no, we're probably gonna have to hunker down for the rain, because from what I understand, it sucks traveling or riding rails in the rain. And plus it's gonna be a little bit slippery and all that other stuff. It could be very, very uncomfortable. I mean, living out here is uncomfortable enough in some ways, just dealing with the elements, like, oh man, it sucks, it's raining, stuff like that. So, you don't want to make life any harder than it has to be, so why would we want to travel in the rain? Now, because we've been kind of doing some planning, and we're also trying to figure out a jump spot as well. Now, we found a couple others, jump spots that are really close to here and also will give us good cover. We're hoping to find a jungle there, maybe not, you never know. See, I'm picking up the lingo. So anyways, but yeah, as far as, okay, so let me just make sure I answered those questions. Okay, no, so Cherokee, the reason why I'm not doing the moving trains right now is because I'm still getting acclimated to the whole thing, and quite frankly, it's more dangerous doing it that way. I'm not a very big runner. I can walk, and running is just kind of, I got like a backpack on me, and I got, and I'm a fat boy. I got short legs. That's one of the things. If you're like 5'10", getting on and off those trains are easy. But me at like 5'6", 5'7", and stuff like that, I just, my body is not equipped to keep up with those trains and jump up there because of not only the slant on the rocks, because it's on a mound and then they put the rails on the mound. So you gotta find like a trail to be able to run with it. And so these guys are kind of showing me how to do it, but because I'm still green, they agree with me as far as, maybe it might not be a good idea for a while for me to jump on a moving train. We can wait till they get off. Again, it's safer to do it on a train that is going south. So as far as traveling tonight, well, now that it's raining, we're definitely probably not going to be traveling tonight. Hunker down for the night, tent or rough. I don't have a tent anymore. If you guys remember when I got to Chattanooga, I was talked into giving up my stuff for a joint venture that never turned out to be a joint venture. It more or less turned out to be an ego trip, and more than that. Anyways, so I ended up giving up all the stuff that I really needed, and I've been going through and replacing it. There's two things that I need to get. We have a large road about a quarter mile from where I live in Wayne, Indiana. Everyone complains about the constant stop trains blocking roads, hours sometimes. Yeah, and I hear that Indiana is probably the suckiest state in all the union. That's what I keep hearing from so many people. Hey, Anarchy, glad to see you. But I need to get me a hammock, and I need to get me a better power block. A power block at Walmart, and there's a Walmart that's close, so if you guys want to put a tip down in my tip jar, I can go get that. I think it's like $25 for the 20,000 mega amp, and then it's another $35 for for the hammock. And all of this is Ozark Trail, and I'm kind of starting to like Ozark Trail. Just like, so the sleeping bag I bought, that's cool. You're going back to Florida. I'd rather be there or Texas, and I will be one day soon, matter of weeks. Texas is not the place you want to go. Stay away from Texas. Texas is, it's a war zone, we'll just say that. There is so much craziness going on that it's going to be kind of hard to, let me check okay, it's still staying dry, good. So I'm trying to keep an eye on my power block so it doesn't get fried in the rain, but I got to get some charge on it or something. Otherwise, I'm screwed. There's a way for you to receive packages while on the road trails. Jeremy, so I've been asked that by another individual as well. And when I get to Florida, I'll be there for about 3 weeks. Here's the thing. I've had people offer like, hey, I want to send you a care package. And so I put up, okay, I'm going to be here in like 4 days. You can send me a care package, and here's the general delivery address, and here's where you want to send it. Nobody ever ended up sending anything, so I stopped putting stuff like that up there. But if somebody, and one of the requirements that I have is if you're going to send me a care package, I need to know that it's coming, because if I don't know it's coming, I'm just going to jump on the rails, and then it's going to end up coming right back to you. Wasted postage and yada, yada, yada. So that's why you want to send me an email to jasonthewise81@yahoo.com, and there I will either that or leave a comment down in the comment section, because I read all my comments, and just let me know that, hey, I got a package coming. But if I have the tracking number, then I can be there, wait for it, because sometimes it comes early, sometimes it comes late, and then I can start planning around that. But I already have something set up for care packages when I get to Gainesville, because I'm going to be there for probably about 2 to 3 weeks, because my navigator, Paranoid, and man, Paranoid, I gotta tell you, I'm so grateful to have people like Paranoid and you guys that do what you do to kind of help keep me going, because you are you guys are what kind of makes this a much easier lifestyle than what it could be. I'll put it this way, because Paranoid and we spent 2 days trying to find a jump spot, I got to learn a lot. We're learning how to communicate. And this is actually a video in which I want to make. And I'm kind of curious to see what you guys think. I can kind of explain it a little bit more. I put it in a short to see if there was any interest in it. It does not really seem like there's any interest in it, but I'm still going to make a video on it anyways, because I think it's something important, and maybe it will be relevant and more important later on. But think of it this way, okay? With what's going on in Israel, there is, I mean, it's escalating, and it's escalating fast. By the time Thanksgiving comes around, I would not be surprised if there's an all-out war between us and the whole Middle East, and then that's going to bring in Russia and China because of alliances. So one of the things that our founding fathers kept trying to tell us, especially in the beginning, is don't get entangled in foreign entanglements, okay? Because that's what starts a lot of these wars. So if you look at World War I, it was, so Germany was Prince Ferdinand was assassinated, and it happened in Persia. It was done by the Brits because they wanted to kind of instigate a war. And so what that ended up doing is, because those two, one declared war on the other, now everybody that's already signed into an agreement, now all of a sudden it brings them all into an agreement, okay? And next thing you know, the whole world is at war because they've got all this, you get your friends, I'll get my friends, and we'll go and we'll have a nice big old brawl. Well, you know what? It's nice to have a street fight, but when you're having a global war, it's way more detrimental, okay? So, thinking about it along those lines, that the United States is caught up in a lot of foreign entanglements and a lot of foreign things, and we're going to be put to a point where we're either going to have to, shit or get off the pot. If we don't, then then we're going to lose all those people that we have agreements for. And then when we finally get attacked, because if I understand right, Iran said that the United States is next, so we should be prepared and be ready for some sort of attacks, especially with what we saw in Washington D.C. With those protests and everything else like that. So what happens if all of a sudden we've got civil war, we've got terrorist attacks, we've got war showing up on our shores? What do we do? How do we form a resistance? Because even post-World War Germany, the people, they formed a resistance. They did not like being occupied. We're Americans. We're not going to like being occupied. So just like anyone else, we're going to form a resistance. So how do you form a resistance? How do you communicate? And when you have people that are all over the place, because you're going to have pockets of people going, oh yeah, I'd like to, or other pockets, pockets over here, pockets over there. Well, how do you get them all together to be able to form some sort of large army? To form some sort of large army, so that you can at least hold territory, protect your communities, and do whatever it is that you think is right, because that's what's eventually going to happen should we ever get occupied by a foreign entity, or whether it be a civil war, or whether it be terrorist attacks. So, and this is what Paranoid and I are really working on, it because this is a likely scenario that is going to happen, whether it's SHTF or something else, okay? So this is a video that it's going to take some time. It's not going to come up right away. He's going to do part of it. I'm going to do part of it, as far as I want people to understand what it's like from my point of view. Like when you're on the receiving end of all these directions and you're communicating with somebody, there's a point there, and you're seeing the world from a different view versus somebody like Paranoid, who's at a distance, who can't see in real time what it is that I'm seeing, and he's relying on me, and so he has to be able to interpret the data and all the information which I send to him, so that he can give me legitimate information to where, okay, go here, do this, and really kind of get people get me on the track to where I need to go. And you know what? If it wasn't for Paranoid, I would have never found Slack and Fishbone, because the dumpster and all this other stuff, the college that he told us to go to was like a little annex building. It wasn't even part of the main campus, which is why I would have had a hard time finding it. Those guys would have jumped out before I would have found it, and I probably would have been there for a couple of weeks, which really would not have been that fun. I'm not a big fan of Nashville. I'm not a big fan of Tennessee. So Okay, you also have to know the difference between the United States of America and the... Yes, I know the difference, anarchy. I've done the whole Freeman thing. I got plenty of gag orders. I know what you're talking about there. But at this point, a lot of that stuff becomes irrelevant in the destruction of the country. So, have I ever been to Tennessee or Georgia? Well, if you guys remember, I was on the Pinhoti. The Pinhoti took me through Georgia. You guys remember, right as I crossed the border, I hit a trail town. So yes, I've been to Georgia. I've been through Atlanta. I do not like Atlanta, only because I've seen what the gas station, or not the gas station, the Greyhound station looks like. Tennessee, been there. After I got out of the hospital in Georgia, they brought me in Chattanooga. And then also coming through on rails, I've been in Nashville. It's not just Chattanooga that's backwards, it's the whole state. If they see you with a backpack on, unless you're like really close to a trail, you're automatically deemed homeless whether you're homeless or not, just because you're wearing a backpack, which is kind of weird. But I'm from the West Coast where everybody wears a backpack. Wearing a backpack is normal because you don't want to load up your pockets, but you're going to be out and about for the day, so you're going to need some stuff. So why would you leave it down, and why would you load up your pockets? Put it in a backpack. As you go along, you pull out your snacks, you pull out this, you pull out that. Seeing a backpack or a JanSport. Now, when you see a hiking backpack, again, people think, okay, hiking, trail, somebody going out in the woods, somebody who's camping, somebody who's on foot, because not a lot of people on the West Coast really have a car. There's more people that take public transportation than cars. So, people walking around with a hiking backpack to go out into the woods and stuff like that is something that would happen. So, so I hope that answers your question, Cherokee. Okay, Ian, what's your end destination in life? In life? Well, my end destination in life is always death. That will be my final destination. Not to be a smart ass, but you asked. I hope some people are laughing at that one, because I am. So what is it that I hope to accomplish? The world's falling apart. So many people have, and even the kids I'm talking to right now, I'm not going to give their story, that's for them to give, but I will say that because of everything that happened pandemic-wise, post-pandemic, the way the government's handling it, the way the economy is going, the way the supply chain is going, and the amount of hoops that you got to jump through just to be able to get a job, and then they leave you strung out waiting for a response that you may never get, and so you spend all this time trying to get a job you don't want, and don't even really want to work, but you need to put a roof over your head. But then again, each thing has where would I settle? I don't know. I'm probably not going to settle until after all this is over. Why? Because what happens, so I end up in Jacksonville. Let's say I love Jacksonville. Jacksonville's awesome. Well, you realize that there is a sub base there. It is a nuclear sub base, and it is one of the largest sub bases on the East Coast. I think it is equal to Norfolk, okay, but for subs, okay, and so that is an automatic target. Why would I want to settle there? I don't know where the targets are. I don't know where they're going to do it. So if I'm not on the move, I'm not going to be able to stay as safe as I can. Now, a wise man would say, hey, let me find that first place that they're going to drop one and let me make sure I'm there. That way I don't have to live through all this crap. But, I never said I was a smart man. I said I was a wise man, but not a smart man. And so, in my wisdom, it's better to be traveling and to be constantly on the road, because you don't know what's going to happen. And if I'm in between cities and in between destinations, and either my origination, either where I originate from or where my final destination has something that goes wrong, well, you know what? At least I have the opportunity to avoid it because I'm in transit. And so being in transit allows me to make logistical adjustments, okay? Not only that, I'm sure I'm going to pick up people along the way. It'd be nice. But I want to be able to see the mood of the country. I want to see what's really going on in the country, and I can't do that sitting in a dwelling. Now, am I going to ever probably have a roof over my head? When this channel hits about 10,000 subscribers, that will be something that I think about then. Okay, because at that point in time, I may make the money that I need to make to be able to have a roof over my head. But again, Google could go under any day. I mean, they could like no longer monetize or do any advertising because, you know, let's say the economy goes tits up. Okay, well, I'm out there, and so I put all my eggs I put my eggs in that basket, and you know, how does that benefit me? So that's why I'm creating things like Patreon. I've got a website, because even when those platforms get demonetized, there are those of you that are really interested not only in my point of view, but the content that I put out, and you know, just the things that I have to say. You find them interesting, entertaining, informative, whatever it is that you may find. Okay, and so I want to be able to offer you guys a venue for that, because, you know, as being on the road all the time, I get to see what's going on. There's two places that I really want to, there's two things I want to do this spring and summer. This spring I will probably head to New Mexico and try and go take a train over the Rockies. I would love to be able to do that, but when I get there, I also need to be able to have, you know, I'm going to be carrying a lot of weight, probably like maybe even see if I can figure out a second backpack, or find somebody that wants to be a buddy of mine and come out and live in the woods for about 2 weeks, just in the middle of nowhere with nothing. You know, I mean, just going to have to fight off nature, fish for my food, you know, do what I got to do. But, you know, it's not going to be something long-term, but that's something that it'll probably happen in the summer more than the spring. But in the spring, I might also go up to Pennsylvania, because it's a zombie city. What is it? Philadelphia? It's a zombie city. I want to be able to see it. But I also am not going to go there alone. 1, 2, I'm not going to go there without proper protection. Because I've seen videos where the cameraman, they're trying to steal his stuff. They try and beat him up because they don't want people filming what they're doing. They want to be able to have their privacy, but when you live outside, you have no privacy. And that's just something you need to be okay with. So, let's see here. Have I answered where would I settle? Okay, yes, okay. I've answered all of those. Okay, if anybody else has any more questions, please go ahead and ask. Some prerequisites, if you ever decide, because I watched Slap and Blackjack, and I've talked with Slack and Fishbone, and I've talked with a couple other people, and they're saying, like, okay, before you even think about hopping rails, or before anybody even wants to train you hopping rails, what do you have to, what are the prerequisites? It's like going to college, because this is a learning curve. I mean, it's easier, it's way more fun, but it requires so much of a learning curve. So one is, and I agree with Slack on this, you have to be okay with the fact that you're homeless. You can't be like Silver Spoon and go, I'm not homeless, I'm a transient. Well, no, that's even worse, dude. I'm unhoused. Okay, so what? You haven't accepted the fact that you're homeless, and because you can't accept the fact that you're homeless, you're just going to be miserable, and you may end up costing me my safety and security and my own personal freedom. And I would not be willing to bring somebody along, and that's why that was one of the prerequisites that they had. Okay, because here's the thing: you may have to ride what's called shitty face, which means you ride into the wind. It's not fun, but you may have to do that, especially if you're traveling with a group. You may have to deal with elements like the rain and all this other stuff, whereas when you're housed up, you just go in 4 walls and you're protected. You don't even think about the rain, other than, oh, well, I can't go shopping today. Okay, well, when you're outside, it's not I can't go shopping, it's I hope my gear doesn't get wet because I don't want to get sick, or just not be able to sleep tonight because my gear won't dry out because it's been raining for 3 days. Okay, these are different things that you've got to be acclimated to, and this is why I've been talking about this. So, you know, that's one thing. So one thing I want to ask you guys: do you guys think that I am direct and uncensored when I talk about the homeless issue? Because I maybe not even that, it's just so I was having a conversation. I've been given permission to talk about this conversation, and I don't have my tablet on me so I could read it, but it is something that I do want to look into a little bit more. Is you know, or I want to be able to I want to be able to better articulate it, but I'll kind of give you guys a basic overview of what our conversation was, because he was telling me, it's like, look, you know, the reason why you might be having problems, not that you are, but you may be, so it's just a possibility, doesn't mean it is what it is. Because I'm like, if what I'm doing is so good and so valuable for so many people, why do I not have 50 or 100,000 subscribers right now? Why is it that I'm still struggling to be able to get views, to be able to get people that follow me, so on and so forth? Why am I struggling in this life? What do you prefer, wool versus fleece versus down? I'll answer that in just a second. Yes, but so with that, and it was explained to me in an analogy. Okay, so think of, you remember the movie Terminator? You had Terminator, which everybody's like, oh yeah, Terminator, he's the badass. But if you look at the, I forget what his name is, the guy that comes back in time, the guy who's pretty much the main character, not the Terminator, but just the way in which he keeps trying to warn people, he keeps trying to tell people things, all these other different things. And nobody really listens to him because what he was saying wasn't all pizzazz. It wasn't all, fancy and fluffy and like all excitable and stuff like that, because, he lived it. He knew what you needed to do, but nobody really wanted to listen to him. And so he was saying that that's probably the same problem I have, is that nobody ever listened to the main character. They always just look at Terminator and go, oh yeah, that's the cool part. Not realizing that the main character was the most important character in the whole thing. And he was saying he was equating what I was doing to the actions of the main character, which so on and so forth. So I'm just curious if you guys see that, or because I think I sugarcoat a lot of this stuff. I could tell you much worse, but I'm not trying to scare you. I'm not trying to get you to see things in a bad way, because I don't want you to come out here and be like, oh my God, it's going to be so horrible. Man, if you've camped outside, just imagine camping outside but never being able to go home. Okay, that's really what it's like. But the thing is not only are you never able to go home, it's not like you get to stay in a campground. Okay, so that's kind of what I have to say on that, and I'll talk about it more. So do you prefer wool versus fleece versus down fill? Okay, I have not used down. Fleece is good down to about 50 degrees. After that, to me, it's useless. Wool. If I've had wool once. I'd like to be able to acquire more wool. But one, it's heavy, but it is antibacterial, and I think they also call it antimicrobial. Okay. Also it can hold a lot of water. So like if you especially in Florida with the way the humidity is, you wake up with a little bit of dew on you every morning, no matter what you do. Something like that wool would be great for, and it will not lose its ability to keep you warm. So if I had a preference, I would probably go for wool as clothing, and then probably down for like a blanket or sleeping gear, but I don't know how low down goes. See, and the thing is now that I'm writing the rails, I have an opportunity to be able to keep myself from being in those super cold temperatures. But with the extreme weather, I mean, we've got now that this rain's come in, after this rain is up, we've got a cold front coming in before it warms up again. And so, I mean, Cincinnati saw snow during the last cold front. I mean, it's already started snowing, and it's already November in areas where it doesn't normally snow in November. I remember in Oregon for about 5 years, it snowed the week before Thanksgiving, but we never got snow for Christmas. I don't think we ever had a white Christmas. But when my son was born, the year that my son was born, we had record snow. I mean, the whole city shut down. It was that bad. So, but anyway. So let me go back to questions. Okay, fleece sucks. Wet, it takes long to dry. Yes, I like as an underlayer. Maybe. Okay, people want what they want, not what they need. Yes, that's true. Explore the reason why people become homeless by choosing to or not, because it's fascinating. Is that a statement or a question? Because here's the thing, a lot of people now are choosing to be homeless because they just give up. They're giving up. Here's a story I heard. I'm not going to give any names, places, or dates, but this individual was looking for work, and he basically, his car broke down. All he had was just him. He needed to go to work to make some money. Shows up at a labor ready, sleeps in front of the labor ready. and then goes in there and they're like, oh, well, you got to have this, 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 and this. He's like, well, I don't have that, and I don't have that. Like, they needed him to have a car and an ID, and he's like, that's what I'm trying to get. And so because he couldn't, he couldn't do it, he went out, he went out, grabbed some cardboard, went out, made more money that day flying a sign than he could have at Labor Ready. And the thing is jobs now are making it so difficult. And there are so many different hoops that you have to jump through that it just, why would you ever want to go find a job if they're going to make it that difficult to get hired? There are so many places out there. We're closed a day during the week because we don't have enough labor. Hey, I'll come work for you. Oh, no. We're good. Well, then why are you complaining? Why are you trying to like guilt people? Oh, well, we're closed because we don't have enough. Because then people feel sorry for you. It's like it's a business's way of panhandling or making people feel sorry for them. Okay, and so it's like, well, what's the point? Why do I want to go fight to get something that I really don't want and I'm not going to be happy at? But hey, it pays the bills. And like, how miserable am I going to be able to, to keep supplying that vice? And the thing is once you get okay with the fact that your ancestors did it, you should be able to do it. Sleeping outside, your ancestors did it for years and years. But at the end of the day, we are so stuck and we are so codependent on our amenities that it becomes a psychotic break. And everybody that I've talked to, just to verify, yeah, you're gonna, when you go homeless the first time, when you lose everything, you are going to have a psychotic break. And when you go homeless the 5th and 10th time, you are going to have a psychotic break. But here's the difference, though, between the first time and the 10th time. The first time, it's going to break you. Okay, you're gonna have a moment. You may go do some white dope. You may go do some stuff that you never would have thought doing, just because it hits you so damn hard. And then on the other side, by the time you get to the 10th time, you're like, okay, I'm used to this, but you're able to recognize it, because it psychologically, when you lose everything because of attachment, it becomes very, very hard for an individual it becomes hard for an individual just to function. I'll just put it that way. I'll leave it that way. So let me go back to questions. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, most people paycheck to paycheck. Okay, yes, that's true. But there is a downslide into all that too. You also got to look at the fact that you are having to deal with like sleeping on friends' couches, couch surfing, all that stuff. So like my fall coat with my army fleece top with long sleeve shirt, Under Armour long sleeve base layer as my winter kit. Okay, that Thai girl offered me $10K to get married for 5 years. I would have taken it. I mean, why not? And as long as you're getting the benefits of marriage, you might as well take advantage of it. I would. I was actually offered that, but the girl was a lesbian. And I'm like, no, I'm not getting the benefits of marriage. I'm not going to do something like that. So those labor-ready jobs can be sweet or very hard. Yes, they can. There are loads of stop-slow construction sign jobs. Yes, but yet they don't want to hire anybody. They're making it hard for people to hire. So at a point, people are giving up. Again, the world, you think, oh, everybody's lazy. No, it's not that they're lazy. They gave up. I mean, look at me. I worked my ass off to get off the streets. I had to put my head back together so that I could be on the straight and narrow and psychologically sound. It took me a lot of years to do that. Not only that, I built a business and I was making over $100,000 a year. I was making over $100,000 a year. And in revenue. Now I got about 40,000 of that. So what? Because of all the overhead, having to pay some, share it with my business partner and so on and so forth. But then through no fault of my own, through a black swan event that I could never have prepared for, nobody could have saw that coming. I mean, not the way and when it happened. I mean, just it's an invasion. Call it what you want. It's an invasion, and just. Even me, I've given up to a point. I just don't care. I care more than most, but I still don't care. Not as much as I used to. That's why in Cincinnati, when I met enough resistance, I don't care. Fine. You guys want to like wallow? Fine. Have fun. It's not my thing. But see, I wish one of the things I keep telling Slack is, I just wish I could not care as much as you do, my life would be so much simpler. I would have, it would be less full of grief, because when the thing, we spend so much time trying to take on the world's problems as our own, that we forget to deal with ourselves. And that's really why I envy what it is that he's doing. So let's see here. Stop. Okay. Go west. There are lots of girls coming across the border that would marry. No, why? When they're getting free citizenship, they don't have to. If that were true, those two ladies in Nashville would have asked me, did you leave that guy with did you leave that guy with the toque 2 weeks ago? I don't know what you mean, Cherokee. You talking about Leprechaun, or the guy that I like to call the lawn gnome? Yeah, I left him. Yeah, he's not. No, I wouldn't travel with him. And that's what I like about these guys. Okay, so one of the things that you really got to do if you're going to be successful out here is you need to be self-sufficient. These guys are self-sufficient. Since I've come into them, it's almost off to me, because I'm so used to people going, well, you got, that I usually have extra stuff to give away, but these guys are like, no, I don't need, no, I don't need, no, I don't need. Is this yours? Okay. No, I don't need, no, I don't need, da 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 da. And it was just seeing that these guys are self-sufficient. It's nice. It really, really is. Okay, so, but you got to be self-sufficient out here. That is a must, and you need to be able to set yourself up to be self-sufficient. I'm as self-sufficient as I can be. I have my ways of making money. These guys have their ways of making money. They have all their gear. They have all their food. They don't need me for anything. I don't need them for anything other than a little bit of knowledge and to share some stuff with me. I'm happy with that. I'm okay with that. Okay, so guys, we're getting close to that 45-minute mark, and I am gonna have to end this because I want to go ahead and go chat with the guys a little bit more, see what we're doing, yada yada yada. So, with that being said, so guys, I'm gonna slowly wrap up. Okay, so if you have any more questions, I'll answer one or two more questions before I get going. If you really want to help the channel out, you want to help me with my travels, it would make life so much easier on me. And if these guys need anything, I'm more than able to share with them. How many days food you carrying food right now? Oh wait, did I answer your question, just a guest? Hold on, let me go up here and make sure I did, because I know you. Okay, what do you? Okay, yeah, I did. Okay. How many days food are you carrying? About 2 days. One day to wait, 1 day on the train, because we're not on the train for more than 12, 14 hours. Okay, so, but you guys know how to help the channel out. Down in the description. Oh, thank you, just a guest, much appreciated. There's, you can leave something down in the description. Let's see, yeah, you can, you've got my links to Patreon. Come on over, become a Patreon. I would really like to build that up. I've got 10 people over there right now. It'd be nice to get up to 100 by this time next year. And that way you guys can not only see all the cool stuff. Now, there is a 7-day free trial, just so that you guys know. Take advantage of that. Go look at a lot of my older videos and all that other stuff. Now, I do know that I have about 4 people that are like free Patreon subscribers. So whatever I put out that isn't behind a paywall, they get to do. So older videos, if you go on the free side, the older videos you can go in, you can watch, not a problem. Okay, as far as like Patreon and that goes, that's kind of how you work that. But I'd strongly suggest it if you guys are interested in seeing when I'm going on the rails, because like I said, 12 minutes of yesterday's video that I finally got uploaded and out. So if you haven't gotten it, you should watch it. It's nothing but me riding the rails and showing you what it's like, the views and all that stuff. Okay, so that being said, that's that. Tip jar, affiliate links. I'm gonna have to update my affiliate links because these guys are showing me how shitty my gear is and what I really need. So, but also, if you are not a subscriber, become a subscriber. If you are subscribed, don't forget to hit that bell notification, because as you saw, you basically had a 10-minute warning before I went live, and a lot of this it's gonna be like this whenever I'm traveling. I don't intend on being in a place longer than 3 days to a week. After that, no. I want to be moving on. I don't want to be static. I like being on the move. That's why I like these guys, because they're the same way. Okay, so that's one thing to also consider. Just hit that bell notification, make sure that you're notified of everything. That way, whenever I go live, if you have the time, you can come in and watch it, or you can watch it afterwards. But those are all the different ways you can help, do what you find is best and what is palatable for you. Thank you guys for watching. And when I get to my next destination, as soon as I get an opportunity, just like now, I will go ahead and do another live stream. Once I get to Gainesville, I'll start putting up regular content again, and I've kind of got to go through and piece out what it is that I've done. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you the next live stream I do.